What's going on, everyone? So we've talked a lot about Damian Lillard just because, that is the main news and headlines right now, right? Damian Lillard, they're trying to work out various trades, trying to see where he's going to end up, how many teams it's going to be, and all that. But we may be right back in this situation next season with Donovan Mitchell, right? So Donovan Mitchell is not planning to sign an extension. A lot of the reports were that he's not planning on signing the extension this year, which, okay, that is kind of understandable in that regard because he has this year, he has next year, and then he has a potential player option for 2025, 2026. So it's not really a desperate need to go and extend Donovan Mitchell this season, but next season, we could be, if Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs don't find a happy medium for them to continue this relationship, you could very well see Donovan Mitchell once again, just like last season, in trade conversations, very likely the New York Knicks. And most of the consensus is that Donovan Mitchell, as soon as he could leave the Cavs, he's gone. And the reason I say next season is because, yes, technically he could be under contract for another year, but he has a player option. And he's going to get big money regardless. So, and is he going to be able to qualify for a Supermax, something like that? I don't know. I don't think so. We'll see. Time will tell. But if Donovan Mitchell has any inclination of I'm sorry, you guys got to either trade me or I'm out of here, then the Cavs are very likely going to have no choice. And the Knicks are that team, right? He wanted to go to the Knicks. He thought he was going to be a Knick. The Knicks looked like the only team that was going to land Donovan Mitchell. And then in a surprising turn of events, the Cleveland Cavaliers came in and swooped in. And look, there's nothing wrong with what the Cavs did. They took a shot with Donovan Mitchell. They felt like they were a team that was right there on the cusp. And who knows, maybe they'll be even better this year, right? Another year under their belt, another maturity year for a lot of their young guys. And maybe they are off to the races. But I don't see them winning anything this year. I don't see them winning the championship this year. And I don't see them necessarily winning it next year either, unless some crazy move ends up happening. Which means more likely than not, Donovan Mitchell is going to leave them in the next year or two, and they're going to have to go find a trade. And this time, I don't think anybody is going to trade for Donovan Mitchell that's not named the New York Knicks, because Donovan Mitchell wants to be a Knick. The Knicks want Donovan Mitchell, and the difference between this time and last time is that Donovan Mitchell has the option to leave, right? The Cavs were willing to take him because they were like, okay, we got 3 years of him. So it makes sense to where we can get him, trade for him, and then we have a couple years to kind of hopefully figure things out, be in contention, and then maybe he'd want to stay. Where, I don't know, I'm just throwing a team out there, but let's say Miami, right? Say Miami misses out on Dame and Donovan Mitchell becomes available and they're like, okay, well, let's go get Donovan Mitchell, right? That's a great consolation prize, right? Well, the difference this time would be, what if Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be with the Heat and he doesn't want to play for Miami? He wants to be a Knick. So then Miami's going to go and trade for Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell's just going to go to the Knicks. So whatever you gave up is pointless, right? So the Cavs are going to be in a very just compromised position, in my opinion. Because Donovan Mitchell is a excellent talent. There's no doubt about it. But is he your guy on a championship contender? Personally, I don't think so. I think if he was alongside a Giannis or maybe an Embiid or an Anthony Davis or a Jokic or something like that, absolutely. I think you could win a championship with him and another star that is along the side, or maybe even a Kevin Durant or something like that, because he is very dynamic. He is a guy that's an absolute bucket, but you need to have a right team around him. And personally, I don't understand why the Knicks want Donovan Mitchell regardless, because they have Jalen Brunson and you kind of just have very similar players. You're going to be terrible in the backcourt defensively. You're going to score a lot of points because you got two guards that can, really light it up, but then you're running a backcourt of two undersized guards. It's not something that I I look at and go, man, the Knicks are going to be terrifying, right? But the Knicks, depending on the pieces that they have to give up and the situation that they're in, and they have a lot. So they could go and trade for a Donovan Mitchell, and then if Giannis becomes available the following season, could still go and get Giannis, because they got so many draft picks that it's just overflowing, right? And they have a ton of young players and a ton of young talent. Could be interesting, right? Now, if something like that happens where it's now you got Brunson, Giannis, and Donovan Mitchell, okay, I would still look to trade Brunson, if I'm being honest. I don't think they will, because his dad is on the coaching staff, but still, the Cavs are either going to have to make a big splash on something, right? They need a hope that a Joel Embiid or something like that becomes available, and they make a big push for him, and they pair him with Donovan Mitchell, and they're very good, and it's dude, look, ride this out with us. We just got Joel Embiid and you, and now we just need to put whatever pieces are left, and we can contend and win an NBA championship. Then maybe, and just maybe, at that point, maybe Donovan Mitchell would say, okay, I have a real shot of winning here, right? Let's do this. And maybe he doesn't sign a full, maybe he does a 1+1 or something like that, right? But I think that that's the only real way you're going to be able to keep Donovan Mitchell long term, is if they go and make a big splash for some type of player. And look, they have the pieces, right? If you had to, you have Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, you got Jared Jackson. So if a star, again, I was just using Embiid as an example, but if a star becomes available, or let's say Giannis becomes available, Giannis, I don't think would have any problem with the small market team. Do you put a package together of Darius Garland and Evan Mobley with draft picks and stuff, and go get Giannis and tell Donovan Mitchell, look, you and Giannis are more than enough to win a championship. We'd still have, a Max Strus, a Jared Allen, Niang, right? Ty Jerome, pieces that could potentially be some quality players on this. Monty Bates, right? What does he develop and do, or does he end up going in the trade? That's really the only way I see Donovan Mitchell not jumping ship when he has the opportunity. Now, I could be completely wrong. Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does stay with the Cavs. But we know for a fact he wanted to be a Knick. We know for a fact that the Knicks were actively trying to trade for him. And, he was sitting courtside. He was talking about, it was no secret. The worst kept secret in the entire NBA was that Donovan Mitchell wanted to be a Knick and he was heading to the Knicks. And the Cavs kind of took a gamble, right? Kind of like what Toronto did with a Kawhi Leonard, right? We may be able to win the NBA championship. But the difference was that they were able to win it. And the Cavs, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, right? I don't know if that's going to be a real possibility. And does Donovan Mitchell want to stay in a small market like Cleveland, where he could go to a Knicks and just explode his brand and make more money than he's ever made, regardless of the contract, right? These are all factors that really come into play. And I just think personally, I think it's an inevitability, right? He's going to be gone. And I think a lot of questions and eyes and media attention and things like that are going to be kind of focused on Donovan Mitchell this season. And then once we get to the offseason, I think that's when we really start hearing the ramped up trade talks and conversation about Donovan Mitchell. And I think just like we are in the Damian Lillard situation right now, where Miami is the only destination and blah, 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 I think we're right back here with the Knicks. And there may be real conversation about okay, is the Knicks it, or is it going to be some other team? Does he have any other teams besides the Knicks that he wants to go to? Things like that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think it's kind of an inevitability that Donovan Mitchell ends up departing and leaving? Do you think no? The Cavs, they should be able to work out an extension? Do you think that they need to make a big splash? Like I said, go get another superstar, another star or something like that, and hope one becomes available between now and then. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.